this video about nervous system. It is important, and of course all beauty of science is in details. The deeper you go, the better you understand nature, and the better you can control your own health, and the better will be your life. Nervous system consists of central nervous system, which is spinal cord and brain. Here, brain and spinal cord. The brain itself consists of mostly three main parts. It is cerebrum, which is part of the brain, the largest part of the brain, responsible for logical thinking, music, and language, and other complicated activity. And cerebellum is a part which is responsible for physical movement, for balance, and it allows us to walk and ride and to do any physical movement. And brainstem is responsible for breathing. So it measures concentration of oxygen in the brain, in blood, and then if concentration of the oxygen is not enough, it gives that command to our lungs and our heart to work harder to provide enough oxygen to the central brain, because brain is very, very energy and oxygen consuming organ. So more than 30% of all energy and all oxygen are consumed in the brain. 30%. Even if you are not thinking too much, it is just normal. If you are resting, it is 30%. Maybe if you sleep, it is a little bit less, but 30%. Imagine the size of the brain is not so big, but it is consuming so much energy, so it makes so much work. It is indeed center of your personality, and you have to take care of your nervous system. You have to at least to understand how it works, what to do to keep it healthy. So we have central nervous system, as I said, spinal cord and brain, and we have peripheral nervous system. It is with all these nerves that are connecting central nervous system with organs and with muscles and all the parts of our body. And as I said, it controls all organs, all inner organs, and then it also connects to our organs of senses. So vision and hearing, etc., etc. Okay, again, nervous system consists of central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system, it is all nerves which are getting from central nervous system to parts of our body and to inner organs. And then we have also very important parts like sensory nervous system, which connect the organs of senses with brain, and motoric part, which is also responsible for muscles, movement of muscles, and etc. What is important to know is that our brain is completely submerged in cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid, it is every day human body producing from blood about half of a liter about new cerebrospinal fluid. And then what is happening at night, especially at night, your brain is shrinking, a little bit shrinking, and amount of this cerebrospinal fluid is increasing. And then after morning, it is again swelling, it is returning to its normal volume, and the cerebrospinal fluid removes toxins, removes all this rubbish, accumulated junk in your brain. It removes it, and then then it goes to veins, and then it is through kidney. It is all this rubbish removed, and it is very, very important that cerebrospinal fluid work efficiently, and for this you have to sleep long enough. Many problems develop in old age, and especially accumulation of large pieces of rubbish of the toxins in the brain. It is especially so-called amyloid plaques, and amyloid is some protein, polymerized protein, and other lipofuscin, etc. Various type of toxins accumulate in the brain, and in particular calcium oxalates, salts of calcium and oxalic acid. Very, very dangerous also accumulation. Our neurons are so important for our body that they are protected, especially they are protected more than inner organs. They have so-called blood-brain barrier. And this blood-brain barrier, it is additional layer of protection so that toxins and some proteins cannot get to neurons, because neurons are not getting food and oxygen directly from blood, but through the so-called glial cells. Glial cells, we'll look further. And also how the I would recommend that brain is working much better if fatty acids are used as source of energy. Brain itself consists of 85% of fat, and brain needs more fat to function properly. And if fatty acids are used as source of energy, then brain operates properly. The brain operates much better than if glucose is used as a source of energy. Okay, here we see some schematically blood-brain barrier here, and you see that we have this additional layer which separate capillars and glial cells. Glial cells, they take oxygen, they take nutrients, food, and they deliver this food to neurons. Neurons are directly not in contact with capillaries. Here again we see schematically difference. In blood vessel is in the capillaries. Capillaries normally have some pores, some opening, and through this opening, serum, blood plasma can go out and can get in. Yeah, but it is impossible in brain. In brain it is impossible. Brain has own extra cellular liquid, extracellular fluids. It has own the cerebrospinal fluid, but from brain, from blood, this serum, this blood plasma is not getting to cerebrospinal fluid. It's not getting directly. It is all protected that no toxins, no proteins, no microorganism is getting to the brain. Here schematically we see these glial cells. Glial cells, they are connected to the capillary, and they are taking oxygen, and then they supply this oxygen to the neurons. And neurons are primary components of the nervous system, and glial cells, they are like serving them, they help them. Glial cells provide structural and metabolic support. They provide this food, they remove some CO2 and remove some toxins from neuron, and also neuron, they also give them support, just structural support. In neuron, they are electrically excitable cells, and they communicate with other neurons, and we have huge number of neurons in our brain, more than a number of stars in all the universe. And these neurons, they communicate with other neurons by such special axon. And okay, we will go next. So we see this neuron, this yellow color neuron. We have glial cells. They supply food and oxygen and take care of the neuron. And different glial cells can be a little bit different. We will not go to details. And neuron has central cell body, like here, cell body, and the neuron has cell body and dendrites. Dendrites is this relatively short parts of the cell, and they have long some branch named axon. Axon is getting far from the neuron. It gets to another neurons, and it is connected to other neurons through so-called synapses. Synapse, it is the gap between this one neuron and another neuron, so it is axon, is branches, and it has terminals or synapses to another neurons. Okay, here have central cell body, so it's all the cell is has all about the same organelles like normal cell. It has DNA the same like all cells our body, but it is functioning quite different. And you see that we have these connections, these synapses from other neurons. Many neurons can be connected to this particular neuron, and then this network of neurons is dynamic. Every night, new connections are established with other neurons, and then we're always changing. So, in artificial intellect is a program. It is not using this dynamic network. It is using stable network, and artificial intellect never can be as functional, as efficient as our brain. Our brain is so much better than any computer. Signals are coming between neurons in part electrical and partly chemical. Okay, so let's go. What is happening? We have this synapse gap between this axon and another neuron. Here more magnification. Electrical signal or nerve impulse from one neuron getting to another neuron by transfer of ions. Potassium and sodium are these ions that transfer signal, but how fast the signal will go and will it be emphasized or will it be suppressed, it depends on so-called substances, neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemical substances which are produced by neuron, and they are produced in presence of calcium. So calcium, so another ion, calcium, we have sodium, potassium, and calcium. Calcium is very, very important to function, for our brain to function. And problem, as I said, that in time, if you consume too much vegetables have oxalic acid. Oxalic acid is very small molecule. It penetrates the blood-brain barrier, and it reacts with calcium, and it creates crystals of calcium oxalate, and then your brain does not have enough calcium to function, and nerve impulses are not getting. Then all your brain not functioning properly, or your body is functioning not properly, and it develops mostly in older age. Neurotransmitters, the main neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is major neurotransmitter, but also there are other important neurotransmitters like dopamine. Dopamine, it is considered like substance to make us happy. Serotonin is substance which make us satisfied. It is just like we calm down. Adrenaline, it's opposite. It is exciting us, exciting the neural system. It exciting all the system of our body. It is cortisol also will be produced if we have too much adrenaline. And GABA is gamma amino butyric acid, gamma aminobutyric acid. This substance is slowed down and slowed down. For example, if you want to sleep better, then you consume GABA. Glutamate it is just protein, and glycine, glycine is also protein. Okay, they can be used for neurotransmitter. Balance between sodium and potassium. Ions of sodium and potassium, very important, and opposite to the majority of medical professionals recommend to reduce the amount of sodium in your diet. It is wrong, because other scientific research demonstrated that we need 5 grams of sodium every day. No, in average, of course. Kids have can consume less. 5 grams of sodium means 12 grams of sodium of table salt. Table salt, 12 grams every day. And potassium we need twice more, about twice more than sodium. So imagine that we need a lot of electrolytes, And if we don't have enough electrolytes, all the nervous system is working not so well. And even, as I said, deficit in calcium because of this oxalic acid creates big problems that sphincters in our digestive system and our excretory system do not work properly. And what is happening in this mostly true for elders, for people older than 60 years old, they develop spontaneous urination. So they need this care, special care, because they cannot keep urine inside. The sphincter doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? Because they were eating too much vegetables. They accumulated too much this calcium oxalate. They have no ions to transmit and the signal, and they have no ions to produce neurotransmitters. This is a huge problem in for elders. Spontaneous defecation, spontaneous urination, and other problems. So sphincters are controlled by our central nervous system. These pampers are bad idea. Of course, children can be also suffering from bedwetting. But children, okay, for children, again, it may happen if they consume too much sugar, and they also, if they have a deficit of these ions. In elders, another problem that a sphincter in stomach doesn't work. So you see here that we have here sphincter, and if it is open, then acidic gastric juice can go up to esophagus, and it's burning it. It's symptoms of very, very bad. And then again, a problem, people and medical professionals recommend, okay, take sodium bicarbonate and reduce acidity of your stomach. But again, if you reduce acidity of your stomach, you cannot digest proteins. You cannot just digest proteins. All the body cannot function because you cannot produce enzymes. There is a muscular dystrophy and other problems. So it is actually very bad advice. But nevertheless, it is very common for medical professionals to say, okay, take some magnesia or take this sodium bicarbonate and then reduce acidity of your stomach. Instead, you have to stop eating vegetables. But of course, the result will be not overnight. It takes years to recover. But at least you understand why it happens. It happens because you consume too much oxalic acid. Oxalic acid accumulates in your body like sand particles. In your brain in particular. Your brain stops to function because of this oxalate. And children, if they don't have enough fat, and if they don't have enough too much sugar, they may develop autism. Autism is brain needs fat. As if 85% of brain is fat, and brain needs fat for development. The best source of healthy fat is free-range eggs from duck. I mean, duck is, you can take chicken or duck, but if it is organic eggs are good. But duck eggs are even better because they are free range. Free range, it means ducks are eating grass, they eating insects, they eating snails, they eating fish, and then the eggs have a lot of vitamins. So to cure autism, it's relatively easy. Scientists like me, I am not professional, medical professional, but I know how to do it because in scientific publications already discovered it. But medical professionals don't read scientific publications. They follow some dogma, what they have to do to make money. To make money, they said, no, autism, you have to take some medication, blah blah blah. But what is working if you put your child on ketogenic diet? Ketogenic diet is that a child gets energy from fatty acids, not from glucose. If it happens, then brain develops quite well and no problem with autism. And it's not only my opinion, some smart people, other smart people discovered a long time ago that for kids, autism can be suppressed if they eat carnivore diet, if they eat ketogenic diet, and lemon also helpful to remove the oxalates. And also it improves cognitive abilities in elderly people, because elderly people in time develop this problem if they consume too much vegetables. And all this medical professionals say you have to eat more vegetables. This is good for fibers. You need fibers for whatever. You don't need fibers. You can eat mushrooms, for example. Mushrooms are good and very healthy food. You can eat some resistant starch, which is not in vegetables. Resistant starch you can buy as powder, and it is cheap as dirt. But vegetables have oxalic acid. Oxalic acid kills your body, kills your kidney, kills your organs, kills your brain, especially brain and nervous system. What it develops if you eat too much of grain and vegetables, you develop leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome is inflammation of the epithelium layer inside of your guts. Inside your gut and this intestine, small intestine and large intestine, they develop this inflammation, and because of this inflammation there are gaps between the epithelium cells, and through these gaps large molecules of proteins and even bacteria can get into the bloodstream, and your immune system are overstimulated, and then what is the consequences? Autoimmune diseases, psoriasis, food intolerance, blood-brain barrier breach, because this inflammation develops not only in your guts, it develops also in your brain, also in all blood vessels also. We will talk about this a little bit later, because it's related to your nervous system. Okay, as I said, it is leaky gut syndrome is very, very, very dangerous, and mostly it develops because you have oxalic acid in vegetables, and also you have gluten, a protein in plants, and they are the reason. Oxalic acid is very small molecule. It very easy penetrates the blood-brain barrier, and reacts inside your nervous system with calcium. And then you have no calcium, you have no neurotransmitters. Your impulses from one neuron to another, they're not going. All your nervous system falling apart. And it is not only in elderly people, it's young people also. As autism, I told already, autism can develop, and all brain can be damaged. What is important, what is also very much important, I was talking about this in my videos, about protective layer of mucus and so-called layer of glycocalyx. Look here, next picture. You have glycocalyx. It is very thin layer, half micron thickness only. Such fibers of oligoproteins and glucoproteins, and some long molecules. These are actually molecules, not fibers, molecules, very long molecules. But they keep mucus layer at the surface. And when I was a scientist, it's about how long it was, maybe 25. Let me see. Maybe 50 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, 18 years ago, I discovered and I have demonstrated very, very important scientific phenomena that friction can be reduced. I was working in fluid dynamics, and I demonstrated that friction inside the pipe can be reduced if we make very, very thin layer of viscoelastic fluid to the inside of the pipe. And if we make such coating, then it is possible to get that there will be no friction inside this part, no friction at all. And this is what happens inside of the capillaries, because we have this viscoelastic layer of mucus with the supporting structure of these fibers, of these long molecules, and there is no friction. No friction. In addition to my proposals, it is not only viscoelastic liquid. It is this mucus has sulfur. Sulfur is electrically charged, and it is electrically repel red blood cells. And as it is repels red blood cells, and there is this condition of lubrication, then there is no friction inside of capillaries. So if you will take very, very thin, like 10 micron diameter pipe and try to push some kind of liquid through this pipe, you need a lot of energy to push it. So it is big friction will develop. But if you have this viscoelastic layer at the surface on the inside of the pipe, no friction. This was my discovery. I tried to make to get this discovery into science, not in science. Scientists appreciate it, but it didn't go to money. Because I was trying to propose new lubricants to reduce lubrication, to reduce friction in engines and all the machines. It was very potential applications to reduce fuel what we need, and we can reduce wear in engines like 500 times or 50 times actually. 50 times I measured a reduction of wear in engine if I use this special engine oil. But again, science is corrupted, and I didn't get any money to continue this research. Moreover, my university did not support it at all, unfortunately. So you see that science is special. Science is not anyhow, science is corrupted. Who pays money and then gets the result what they need, and they need now absolutely different results. Rich people try to not to improve life of other people, absolutely not. Again, what is important, this glycocalyx layer in young and adult people is okay, yes, but in elderly people, this develops that glycocalyx layer is damaged, it is shrinking, it is sometimes completely removed, and we have leakage inside, through the wall of capillary, we have leakage inside of the blood vessel, and so bacteria and proteins and some other stuff, toxins can get inside of our body from blood and lymph fluid. In the same blood-brain barrier, it can be leaky, and toxins get inside blood and make it deteriorate abilities to think, memory, etc. It has name Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is disease when nerves and nerves, it is disease of the nervous system, and mostly it is deterioration of memory, and people cannot think and cannot do any reasonable things. So what is happening? Brain is shrinking. Why it is shrinking? Because neurons are dying off. Why they are dying off? They are starving to death. Why they are starving to death? They cannot consume glucose as a source of energy. But if people are using carbohydrates as a source of energy, they don't have enough fatty acids to provide for the brain, and then these neurons are starving to death. Number of neurons is dropping, and people eventually losing mind. They are turning into, I don't know, even not animals. It is like plants. They cannot do anything reasonable, anything. But it's easy to cure. It's very easy to cure. Again, medical professionals consider this as a very good business, and they say, no, we cannot cure this. The reason is just accumulation of these amyloid plaques. Amyloid plaques, it is the result of polymerization of proteins with fatty acids, with unsaturated fatty acids. And to remove this plaque, it is indeed very difficult. And also it is polymerization of proteins with sugar molecules. And again, the reason why it accumulates because the humans use as source of energy vegetable oils, which are unsaturated fatty acids, and also glucose, which is sugar, and all this glucose and unsaturated fatty acids. They create problem, and they create this plaque. But not the plaque is the reason of the Alzheimer's disease. The reason is high concentration of insulin and high concentration of glucose in the blood. Okay, this is again when I or somebody else try to explain it, people, medical professionals get angry, kicking me out from social network, and but it works. It works for me, for example. Because a few years ago I was on the standard diet with mostly carbohydrates as source of energy, and I developed in time some memory loss, but then I changed to ketogenic diets. I started to use fatty acids as a source of energy, and then my health much improved. So okay, here's a picture of this amyloid plaque. Amyloid, as I said, is proteins, polymerized proteins. They accumulate in the blood, but again, they are not the reason of the disease. They are consequence of the disease. Okay, and the reason is again a development of diabetes. Diabetes, it is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance, and insulin resistance develops if people use as a source of energy carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is a source of problem. Okay, I will not go to many details because it will take too much time. So Alzheimer's as a name is type 3 diabetes. It's again related to insulin resistance. Insulin is a big protein which controls the use of glucose as a source of energy. And these proteins can be polymerized with sugar in some chain and some plaque. And this polymerized insulin blocking receptors of neurons and glial cells, so that glial cells and neurons cannot consume, cannot get glucose inside of their cells. So and then the cells are starving to death, even if concentration of glucose in blood is very high. Concentration very high, but they cannot use this glucose. The only way to improve it, stop using glucose as a source of energy, start to use fatty acids and so-called ketogenic body or ketone body, which produced in liver from fatty acids, and as a source of energy for brain. Brain work much better with fatty acids. Okay, then again, coconut oil. Coconut oil is a very good source of energy for brain in any age. Starting from young age, young kids, they need healthy fat, and healthy fat, as I said, from eggs, and coconut oil also very, very good. Extra virgin coconut oil, if your budget can allow. If not, then you just buy cooking coconut oil. It also works. So then it will be a good replacement of vegetable oils. Vegetable oils are all toxic. They kill your body, they kill your memory, kill your immune system. And stop eating vegetables, because this medical professional says you need to eat a lot of vegetables, few kilo of vegetables for what? For fibers. You need fibers. Why I need fibers? Oh, to produce short-chain fatty acids. But to produce for short-chain fatty acids, much easier, much cheaper, and much safer to take resistant starch, which is potato starch and cassava starch. And also mushrooms. Mushrooms are perfect source of the short-chain fatty acids. Mushrooms are absolutely very healthy, and if you can afford to buy regular mushrooms and consume mushrooms, at least 50 grams per day, even it's enough 50 grams, maybe 100 grams of mushrooms a day would be enough to make your body much more healthy. Okay, that's all. So you see, I get into some details which you cannot find in the books, and which are very important, I believe. But again, I'm not medical professional. I cannot give you medical advice. And again, when I try to express my opinions on YouTube and Twitter and other social networks like LinkedIn, just kicking me out. They stop my account. They stop me because there are people, especially vegans are people who insist that we should not use animals as a source of food. They said we have to eat only grain and vegetables. They are very angry. They have a lot of power. They kick me out and they make you sick, because it is good business for medical and pharmaceutical industry. Okay, decide for yourself. My opinion is just my opinion. It works for me. Maybe it will not work for you. Okay, take care. Ciao.